You spent 18 years complaining about the noise, the messy rooms, the endless driving, the wet towels on the floor. But now that they are gone, the silence is deafening. It is not peaceful. It is terrifying. You walk past their bedroom door and you stop breathing for a second because the ghost of your life as a mother is standing right there, asking you a question you are afraid to answer. Now what? Welcome to the Midlife Reset Manual. We need to talk about the silence. They call it empty nest syndrome. But that sounds too clinical. It sounds like a mild cold. What you are feeling is not mild. It is a grief so deep it aches in your bones. For 2 decades, you were the CEO of the household. You were the emotional anchor. You were the chauffeur, the chef, the therapist, and in one afternoon, you were fired. I want you to know that your grief is valid. Society tells us you should be happy. You did your job. They are independent. Go travel. Go drink margaritas. But society doesn't understand that you didn't just lose your job. You lost your compass. When you wake up in the morning and nobody needs you to make breakfast, it feels like you have ceased to matter. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is 51. Her youngest son left for college last September. She told me she held it together during the drop-off. She smiled. She made his bed in the dorm. She hugged him goodbye and told him to study hard. But the moment she got into her car to drive home, she screamed. She pulled over on the side of the highway and sobbed until she couldn't see. She said, "I felt like I was driving back to a morgue, not a home, for weeks." Sarah would walk into her son's room and just sit on the floor smelling his old hoodies. She stopped cooking dinner because what was the point for just 2 people? She felt like a ghost haunting her own house. She told me, "I feel like my purpose has been stripped away. I'm just waiting to die now." It sounds dramatic, but that is exactly how it feels when your identity is 100% wrapped up in mom. But then, one Tuesday, Sarah walked into that room again. She looked at the dusty trophies on the shelf and the posters peeling off the wall, and she realized something. She wasn't preserving a shrine to her son. She was preserving a shrine to her past self. She was trying to freeze time, but time refuses to be frozen. In that moment, she opened the window. She let the fresh air in. She realized that the stagnant air in that room was suffocating her, and she needed to breathe again. She needed to claim the space for herself. Sarah's realization is the bridge we all have to cross. We think we miss the children, and of course we do. But mostly we miss who we were when they were here. We miss being needed. Being needed is a drug. It gives us a dopamine hit. It makes us feel important. It makes us feel indispensable. When that drug is taken away, we go into withdrawal physiologically. Your body is confused. You are wired to protect and nurture. And now you have all this nurturing energy and nowhere to put it, so it turns inward, and it becomes anxiety. It becomes loneliness. It becomes that heavy feeling in your chest at 4 p.m. When the school bus used to come. Let's look at Linda. Linda tried to fill the void by hovering. She became what I call a helicopter ghost. She texted her daughter 5 times a day. She tracked her location on her phone. She called to remind her to eat vegetables. She was trying to keep her job as the manager, but her daughter was pushing her away. Linda came to me crying. "She hates me. She doesn't pick up my calls." I told her, "She doesn't hate you. She is trying to fly, and you are holding onto her ankles because you are afraid of falling." Linda had to learn the hardest lesson of motherhood, the shift from manager to consultant. A manager runs the show. A consultant only gives advice when asked. It is a demotion in power, but it is a promotion in peace. When Linda finally stopped the daily texts, when she finally let her daughter make a few mistakes without intervening, 2 things happened. First, her anxiety dropped. Second, her daughter actually called her voluntarily because she missed her mom, not her manager. So how do we navigate this void? How do we stop staring at the empty nest and start building a new sanctuary? It starts with reoccupying your own life. You have abandoned yourself for 20 years. You gave every scrap of your energy to the little people and you left crumbs for yourself. Now, the banquet table is yours again, but you have forgotten how to eat. We need to perform a ritual of reclamation. You cannot just drift into this new phase. You have to mark it. You have to claim it. Otherwise, you will stay stuck in the waiting room, waiting for Thanksgiving break, waiting for a phone call, waiting for permission to live. I have a specific strategy called the room transformation. It is not just about interior design. It is about psychological warfare against grief. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. It involves a bucket of paint and a whole lot of courage. It is the step that moves Sarah from crying on the floor to starting her own business. But before I hand you the brush, I need to know you are ready to paint over the past, not to erase it, but to create a background for your future. Click that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, because in the next part, we are going to redesign your life, starting with the empty room and ending with your empty heart, being filled to the brim. The room. Transformation is not about erasing your child. It is about evolving your home. Here is the rule. You cannot leave the room exactly as it was. If you keep the high school posters up, if you keep the bed made for a ghost, you are telling your subconscious that the best days are behind you. You are living in a museum of 2010, and you cannot grow in a museum. Sarah finally bought that bucket of paint. She chose a color called sage green, a color her son would have hated. He liked dark blue. She painted the walls on a Saturday morning, crying a little with the first coat, but singing by the second. She turned that room into a yoga studio. She put down a mat. She bought a diffuser that smelled like lavender, not teen spirit. And the first time she did a downward dog in that room, she realized the silence wasn't empty. It was spacious. She had room to stretch literally and metaphorically. This is the shift. You are not losing a child. You are gaining square footage in your house and in your brain. The energy you spent worrying about grades, worrying about curfews, worrying about their laundry, that energy is now free capital. You are an investor and you have a surplus of cash. Where are you going to invest it? I want you to make a list today. Call it the used to list. Write down everything you used to love before you became a mother. Did you love to read novels for 3 hours, uninterrupted? Did you love hiking? Did you love painting? Did you love silence? Go back and find that woman. She has been waiting patiently for 18 years. She is not gone. She was just on pause. We need to talk about the marriage aspect too, or your relationship with yourself. If you are single, the empty nest is a spotlight. It shines a bright light on the cracks in your partnership. For years, you could hide behind the kids. We can't talk about us. We have to talk about the soccer schedule. Now, there is no soccer schedule. You are staring at your partner across the dinner table, and you might realize you are strangers. This is terrifying, but it is also an opportunity for a second honeymoon or a renegotiation. You get to date your husband again. You get to ask, who are you? You now that you are not just dad. And who am I? Start new traditions. Maybe you cook together on Fridays. Maybe you take a salsa class. Maybe you sell the big house and move to a condo in the city. The script is blank. Stop trying to read the old lines. But I know the hardest part is the guilt. You feel guilty for enjoying your freedom. You feel like a bad mother if you are not suffering. Let me tell you a secret about your adult children. They do not want you to be miserable. They do not want to carry the burden of your loneliness. If they know you are sitting at home crying, they cannot fly freely. They will always be looking back, worried about mom. The greatest gift you can give your adult children is your own happiness. When they see you thriving, when they see you traveling, when they see you starting a business, they feel free. They think mom is okay, so I can be okay. Your joy is their permission slip to go out and conquer the world. So here's your homework for this week. It is called the golden hour. I want you to take the time of day that is hardest for you. Usually it is the late afternoon, and fill it with something purely selfish. Do not clean the house. Do not do laundry. Go for a walk. Join a book club. Sit in a cafe. And people watch. Reclaim that hour. Make it the best part of your day instead of the saddest. You are the queen of the nest. And just because the birds have flown doesn't mean the nest loses its value. It just changes its purpose. It is no longer a nursery. It is a launch pad for you. You raised them to leave. You succeeded. That is not a tragedy. That is a victory. Take a bow and then take a step into your new life. You have done the heavy lifting. Now it is time to enjoy the view. You are strong. You are wise. And you are just getting started. If this message helped you see the empty nest not as a void, but as a canvas, share this with a fellow mom who is struggling with the silence. We are in this together, building our second acts. Subscribe to the Midlife Reset Manual because we have so much more to explore. Go paint that room and enjoy your freedom.